France, use my first name. He can use my first name with pleasure. Okay. Well, her first name is spelled M-A-U-D. Maud. I live in France, and yes, he can use my first name with pleasure. I got to know him through, another individual who was trained at home. I took the protocol for 6 months, and then I took the plants, and according to my intuition and my budget, I spent something. In France, a naturopath told me, now this is interesting to me, and it's kind of sad, but she does bring something out. In France, a naturopath told me that I had Candidiasis and that I should not eat fruit because of the sugar. Now, I don't know what kind of naturopaths are out there in the world, but you guys and gals are naturopaths. And a naturopath knows science. And a naturopath that says that fruit sugar is too much sugar is not a naturopath. They don't know. They were never trained. Fruit sugar is sweet, like water tastes wet, but fructose is one of the simplest sugar there. Oh, if we're going to kick out fructose, let's kick out ribose. Whoa, you wouldn't want to kick out ribose, would you? For those that know what ribose is. So what are you saying? You can't. What's so frustrating to me is what's going on around the world right now, particularly in America. We're in serious trouble here. We got some real criminals running everything. We're in serious trouble in America. And I don't know what to say about it, but this propaganda highway of the medical profession's got to end. Medical doctors might be afraid to put you on fruit because there's too much sugar, but wait a minute, we're regenerating a toe you wanted to remove, and this guy's a diabetic, and he's on nothing but fruit. Oh, I guess his fruit sugars are stabilized about 120, 150. Oh, well. So, if you're a naturopath and you think fruit has too much sugar in it, then either you got to go back to school, go to our school, or do something. Because you're giving some of the naturopaths a bad name. And I'm telling you, Papa Naturopath, you're not going to put up with it. I just can't stand that anymore. We are naturopaths. We are the main healing modality on this planet, like it or not. Just because some medical doctors are trying to rub us into the dirt and get rid of us, they're not going to be successful because they're the ones hurting and killing all these people. After a while, I hope humans wake up and go, how come there's so many deaths under chemo? How come 100 people that take chemo, 90 walk out dead? Matter of fact, I was just talking to another lady, and I knew she was battling the C word. She's a neighbor. They know of me, but they want to do the chemo. So I met with her a couple days ago, and I was talking to her about it, and because I knew that they were going to run her into an experimental chemotherapy group. And so, before she even said that, I said, experimental chemotherapy groups, let me tell you about them. Before she even opened her mouth. And I said, everyone in those groups die. I said, there's one group of 432. I saved one person because they came to me. And that person is still alive and well, and 431 others are dead. And she looked at me and she goes, I am in a group. And they are all dead but me. I looked at her and I said, I know. Now, do you want to live? So, you got naturopaths out there that are nuts. And medical doctor wannabes and stuff never go to those naturopaths because they don't know what they're doing. For someone to recommend that, so I haven't eaten any fruit for 10 years. From that one naturopath, she stopped eating fruit for 10 years. Imagine that karma. For 2 years, I have been eating fruit, and I love and feel better, but I have to eat more to cleanse myself, like lemon, grape, and mango. So she didn't listen to him. She got a hold of it, and she went on fruit, and now she goes, wow! Matter of fact, this friend of mine, she's squeamish sometimes on going on the herbs, which is funny to me because I found her with a grapefruit-sized tumor wrapped around her aorta. And they went down in there to biopsy that tumor, and they damaged her vocal cords doing it. So I found her at a psych doc's place. She had tried to kill herself, and I had found her Actually, the psych doc was close to my clinic, actually 3 doors or 4 doors down. And anyway, we got a hold of her. I cleaned that tumor out of her. And she should be alive and well today. No tumors or anything like that. But what was I going to tell you about that one? Oh, so she, even though she was on the herbs and got rid of all that, she still was a little squeamish with the herbs. So she would go back and forth. She would binge on, she'd eat a whole pie. And she'd binge on meat and everything else. And then she'd shift over here and then she'd go strict raw fruitarian. Then she'd shift over here and go. So one of those shifts, she went over here and she shifted to all fruit and vegetables. And out came, where are you, little fella? You can't much see it, but that is a pinworm of about 13 inches. And it was about the size of a pencil. And it was alive. And I didn't know how to keep it alive. I didn't want to feed it. So it actually ended up dying here in my office. I used to keep all kinds of wormies from you guys. You know, I love a good worm story. But that one on that picture, that's a tapeworm. Holy crap. That looks like about a 4-foot tapeworm, 3-foot tapeworm, if it indeed is one. Holy crap. My sister had a 24 foot or so. Well, wait a minute. Your small bowel's only 22 feet, and your colon's only 5. The Smithsonian's got, what, a 32-foot tapeworm or something? Holy crap. Overall, I'm active. I do a lot of sports, but I have strange symptoms, and I would like to get rid of them. Symptoms are pain from intercostal shingles on the left. Okay, so the minute someone mentions shingles, you know immediately there's 2 problems with that individual. The first one, they have herpes. Now, it doesn't matter what type of herpes, it's still just a virus. And viruses will stay in you as long as you're highly acidic. That's their job, is to bring you into detox. At least the corona does. The herpes type things, they sit around in tissue, and anytime you get acidic, they come out. Notice that those of you that have herpes, if you stay alkaline, they'll stay dormant. Soon as you get too much lemon, too much pineapple, or get into the meats, stuff like that, bam, here comes a sore. And of course, those of us that had the smallpox all have herpes, because that's what they did to us. Thank you. You know. So, what's the other thing to have shingles? Autonomic nerve weakness at the chronic level. That means what glands are down. What glands control the autonomic nervous system? Now, the autonomic nervous system, there's 2 nervous systems in the body, right? CNS, central nervous system, God, over the land, one overlooking. Now, what comes in here is 2. So it's kind of like the God worlds, right? You've got 1, God, and then you've got creation, 2, duality, which manifests in quadrillions of untold individualities, manifestations, whatever it is. A plant, a tree, a fruit, a human, a dog, who cares? An alien, what Earthlings would call aliens. But she has to have myelin sheath weakness, and that's the adrenal glands. So what she's going to find is, you know the kidneys are down in this one, all right? You know that right off. So you also know the adrenals are down. So that means she probably has nerve rings in her eyes, and she's got to start strengthening the nervous system. Well, how do you strengthen the nervous system? Well, there are herbs for neurons, but wouldn't it be nice to go to the gland that produces the neurotransmitters that shines that highway up? So we go into the adrenal glands and work on the adrenal glands, brain and nerve. We add that to strengthen the neurons. And we go into an alkaline slurry, which then begins to hydrate and regenerate tissue. Because remember, we're entering and introducing a high level of consciousness into the body through what method? Food, fruits, berries, melons. These all have awareness. Remember the lady that has the plants that she trained to sniff out bomb materials in airports? Remember that story? It was on the news. They were going to stop using dog bomb sniffers because they were only 70% accurate at smelling out bomb materials. But this lady professor had trained her plants at 100% accurate, and that plants could turn colors depending upon the chemical they sensed. Stupid plants? I don't think so. Go back to Secret Life of Plants, Christopher Bird and Tom Tompkins. If you can get that book, read that book. Fun stuff, because then it ties everything into there is an awareness that flows through everything. Even the littlest of atom, subatomic, nano, subnano, sub-subnano, and whatever else we go into those little areas of who knows where. Oh, we're getting into where chemistry becomes light, and now we're into pure magnetic energy. Cool stuff. Now we're moving into the astral and into the higher astral into the causal worlds. And in the causal worlds, there's not much. You have form still, but you're losing it after that. So, she's got to strengthen her adrenals, of course, and that brings us into the lymphatic system and all this sort of thing. She's got a 9mm polyp on the uterus, dizziness, okay, autonomic, back ahead, cerebellum, right? Mastoids. So you got to detox the head area. To get this sinuses and to get all this inflammation and acidosis out of these tissues, you got to work on your GI tract, not just kidney filtration. You got to work on the GI tract. This transverse colon gets really bad, and it just locks everything up here. You've seen that, those of you that know iridology, in that transverse colon right here in the mid, where we go right up to the pituitary and pineal glands. And you see an awful lot of that in today's younger people. But what's a polyp on the uterus? What's a polyp? A little tumor. So what system do you think a polyp would come out of? Yeah, the lymph. Polyp has nothing to do with blood. It's all lymphatics. So that means kidneys. Kidneys mean adrenals. See how all that's kind of tied together right there for her. Now, without seeing her eyes, we don't know what this looks like. We know there's a problem. We know she's had shingles, so we know the autonomic is weak, and this is where the autonomic comes into the central. Optic nerves, all of that, right? Fight or flight, all that sort of thing. Constipation if I don't take the herbs, extreme anger and fears, insomnia. Something just told me she had pituitary. I don't know what it was. Your paper did. Ooh. But pineal, here we go. Pituitary and pineal, sweetheart. So you might want to take I do recommend a glandular. I do not recommend melatonin. Why? Because if you take it, your body quits making it. Remember that little old saying, if you take it, your body quits making it. So any hormone, steroid, neurotransmitter, if you take it, your body quits making it. So then when you stop taking it, guess what happens? Bam! Well, those of you who have been on prednisone should know that one. Supporting adrenal function. As soon as you come off of that one, if you cold turkey that one, you're going to get a blowback, aren't you? And that shows you how suppressive these chemicals are. Do you want to live in a life of totally suppressing all these things? And then one day, and all you skin people know this, and one day, kaboom! Yeah. What you suppress, I've said this before, what you suppress today, guys, is your nightmare from hell tomorrow. Don't suppress anything. Let it out. I don't care what it is. Anger, though, brings me over to her liver. So I'm going to be over to that liver, and I'm going to guess she's pretty, I don't know how old she is, but she's got some problems here. And don't we eat a lot of cheese in France? Yep, been there, done it, south of France. Nah, I don't know. France has got some nice fruit down below. But Spain, there's some good food out here. But I don't know why we all just can't get along, why there has to be so much insanity in government. These people are so narcissistic and out of balance and out of control. It's not even funny. This country's in serious, serious, serious trouble, guys. I mean, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, we got serious troubles. And it's serious. It would not be much to be invaded. You know, I'm an old Air Force guy, and I'm telling you. Constipation, all right, so constipation. All right, so now we're thinking autonomic. Well, she had shingles, so we know the autonomic's chronic. So the autonomic is her nervous system, right? So you have peristalsis is a neurological event. So if my nervous system that creates peristalsis is weak, so we're enhancing. So go to raw foods. You got to stay on fruit. And that's another reason why you want to live on fruit, especially if you're the constipated type and you have neurological weaknesses. You want the fruit because that's so the fruit and the berries, neurological food. Neurological food. You see what we're doing with just fruit. But look, we say they're neurological, but look at this toe rebuilding itself. Wait a minute, where's all the amino acids? Where's all the protein? They're not right, are they? No, they're not. Pretty cool. So, the insomnia. Now, anger, I'm going to go to the liver. Fears, I'm going to go to the adrenal glands. Dizziness, I'm going to go here. But, how do I fix all those things? What could be causing all that? See, if you're not trained in the lymphatic system, you're not trained in the two pillars of chemistry, you have the faintest clue. You're living like this one naturopath that has no clue and listening to medical doctors. Yeah, I had a long talk with Pat 2 nights ago, and we're putting to this school together, and she's getting real excited about that. But you guys that are listening in on Sunday night, we're going to having some fun. We're trying to put this coursework, it's professional level, but I want it geared at truth. You know, you'd be surprised at what they make these professors. When a professor learns something that's not in a book or something that's contrary to what, for an example, I don't believe Pat could teach, even though the University of West Virginia found the lymphatic system, the brain, I don't know if she can teach it yet because it's not in the books. Because the books say there's none. But the university over here found it. That's some of the problems. I found the kidney connection to the lymphatic system, but you think they would listen to that? Heck no. But you guys are, and that's why you're getting cured. All of you are getting your remedies. So I'm struggling a little bit. I can't manage to be 100% fruit. I get there for a few days and then I go back to salty foods because I need to eat salads and vegetables. What's this lady's problem? Adrenal glands. Don't worry about that, honey, but you got to work on your adrenal glands. The problem is you can't get off further down the road than vegetables or you won't get your healing. Or it'll be really slow. It's really slow with vegetables. I don't have this guy on any vegetables. And I might have him on a little Superfood Blend 3. I get there for, I drink, of course, salty. Salt is what? Sodium, and what gland controls sodium? Oh, the adrenal glands. And they sit where? On top of the kidneys. And the kidneys are what? The eliminative organs of your sewer system. And what do we call the sewer system in your body, which is your main immune system? The lymphatic system. And if there's anything medical doctors are going to learn and we're going to shove up their butts is the lymphatic system. Thank you very much. Matter of fact, there's a medical lymphatic, I'll show it to you if you guys want to listen in on it. Pat sent it to me. I mean, look at this, guys. Remember this picture? The lymphatic system in the finger. Oh, but we don't know anything about the lymphatic system. So work yourself as much as you can. You know, you work yourself and work yourself. But don't do dairy or any of these things like that. She says she has a little drink of organic red glass. Of course, you're French. You're going to have a little organic wine. Well, do me a favor. Find me some 50-year-old tawny port. I'm just saying. You know, when I was in Portugal and we ran a few years of clinic there, these beautiful, beautiful Portuguese people would give me these bottles of wine, and I'm not an alcohol drinker. It gives me a headache. Unless I'm going through a real tough time, I go out and have me a big margarita from the Mexican place down here, which they mix their drinks like this. You think that's enough? Well, yeah, I guess. Okay. But they'd give me these, and I didn't know what they were. And so I had a friend over once, and they asked me, I said, do you have any wine? I'm going, yeah, I got some old bottles of wine they've been giving me from Portugal. I don't know, what it is. And they looked at it and go, oh, this one's 50-year-old tawny port. Here's a 100-year-old tawny port. I'm going, okay, try it. Oh, my God. That was good. I do like tawny port. At least 10 years, maybe 20-year-old tawny port. Now, for you Portuguese, Sintra, right? That is such a cute place, and neat as that. You get up in the mountains, and you get up high enough for where there's a castle, you're above the clouds. You talk about mysterious and cool. Oh, man, that little town of Sintra is cool as all get up. And they have open places you can walk in and get a glass of wine if you want it and all that. I really love that. This person does a lot of sports, but I don't eliminate much, so I bought a sauna to do one every day. Okay, so you're talking sweating now? So here we go. All right, guys, what do we got? Let's look at this case. All right, we got pituitary and pineal, right? So from there, what are we seeing? We don't know about para, but we do know about thyroid because she can't sweat. So she gets a sauna so she can sweat. But we also know she has chronic adrenals. So here we go. We're going to work on her pituitary. I'm going to get her a questionnaire and be fishing for parathyroid problems because she's angry. Is she depressed? Has she had babies? All these questions you want to ask because you want to find out and help her kids not to have that same problem. Or let's say she had a little parathyroid, right? And she had a little girl and a boy. She had 2 children, right? Of course, genetically speaking, her genes and the father's genetics are going to come together in some way and, pretty much see a replication of those. So let's assume mom has a little parathyroid. She had a little postpartum, but not too bad. She worked herself out of it. The baby, though, a little more problems, a lot of calcium-related problems and stuff like that, bones and stuff like that, cracking and, just loose skin and everything. And then your daughter grows up, and your daughter doesn't like to eat healthy. Your daughter's just, no, I don't like. I'm not going to eat that way. I'm not going to eat like a rabbit and a bird and all that. So at about 20, she decides to have children. What do you think? Serious problems? Well, Andrea Yates comes to my mind, and those of you remember her name, she's a mama that drowned 5 of her babies. And if you guys are practitioners, take a look. If you ever look at her picture, look at her skin. She has wrinkles so bad, major parathyroid weakness, major. And see, they don't know how to fix any of that. They don't even know how to relate to that. Major parathyroid weakness. And of course, she drowned 5 of her babies, claiming that Jesus told her to because the devil's going to get them if she didn't drown them. So they locked the mother away, and she killed 5 of her babies, and now she's locked away. No help from any front, right? How sad is that? We're the God people here to help. We can go in and fix her up and, give her some sucre. If she was knowing what she's doing, and no one here to help her. Our society promotes disease, promotes that crap. Except for us, we promote health and living foods and all that. I do not know what to continue as plants. At the moment I take brain and nerve, bone and connective tissue, endocrine support, adrenal, bleeding. Bleeding? What do I take bleeding for? If you're not having any internal bleeding, set it down. I'm guessing she's on bleeding because her menses is too aggressive. That'd be pituitary. So by working on her pituitary, and I would add the pituitary herbs and take off the bleeding herbs. Add the pituitary herbal, liver, parasite G, chem metal, thyroid. Okay, so save your money on chem metal now. Take that, finish that up. Keep that bleeding in case you have any internal bleeding. You want, I'm sorry guys. All right, so you're on 1 kidney formula, lymphatic 2. Let me give you an up on this. Do 2 kidney formulas. Do an adrenal formula. You got an adrenal. Good. Okay, good. All right. Thyroid. She's on a thyroid. I can tell you that's a bit of an issue for her. Yep. GI renew and female reproduction. Well, you're on nice herbs, but keep the diet. Pull yourself into that fruit level every once in a while for a few days. Pull yourself back, pull yourself in. Go after those adrenals. Watch your blood pressure. If your blood pressure is low, guys, which I'm going to guess she's really low, right? If you're craving salt, your blood pressure, she could have high. That's only her kidneys. Fix that, she's going to go low. Still low, it's kidneys causing that to look high. It doesn't mean she's producing more. So here's the thing. You might want to add some licorice root. I took licorice root out of the adrenals so everybody could use it, because if you have high blood pressure, you can't use licorice root. It'll send your blood pressure out the roof. But if you can wiggle licorice root in on your program, I certainly would. I really would. And I would really go after this in terms of diet and maybe do a few days water fasting. Play with that a little bit. But the one thing you do not want to do is cheese, any of that stuff. I don't care about organic red wines. Who cares? My question is, should I continue to take all these herbs at the same time, or can I target based on my eye condition? We have eyes. Okay, the coach told me that I had cleaned well already, but that it was necessary to be more strict on the fruits. Now 100%, but I cannot do that. I'm going to go with your coach, but if you can't do that, you got to do what you can do. Know that. That's the goal. Work yourself to the goal. I mean, who's riding your car? Your coach or you? Don't let your coach drive your car. You drive the car, have your coach beside you, but you listen to your coach. Sounds like your coach knows exactly what they're doing. Take a look at the eyeballs, guys. Do you have name? Uh-oh. All right, so let me come around here and see if I can help you a little bit on this. All right. What's all this brown around the pupil here? This is a blue eye, right? That's not a brown eye, that's a blue eye, right? Look at this heavy scurf rim. Look at that heavy rim. See that heavy rim around these eyes? What is that? Skin. That's a big fat skin ring. So immediately for you buffs, that is thyroid, big time. So now we want to move up to the pituitary, and right there she is. See that? So if you look at the lymph system around that pituitary, it's in a heavy subacute lymphatic stagnation. The pituitary is in a subacute, that is about a subacute level lacuna. Now, right here is her pineal area, and she's got chronic lymph building up in the pineal area big time. Let's look at the left side. Look at that. That is a huge pineal weakness. Look at that. Let's see if I can get that where you can see it. Look at that. That's big. There's the pituitary right there. That could be pituitary, though. I mean, they're real close, all right, in here. But she's having insomnia. Look over here. Uh-oh. All right, so this is the descending colon. All right. And look at all those little pocketed areas, but this is the heart area and the bronchial trunk. So left bronchial trunk, sweetheart, you got left bronchial trunk problems. Right there's in the lung right there. These are all drug deposits. See all those deposits like clouds in the landscape? Those are all this orange is sulfur. She has sulfur, gassy, bloaty crap. Now look, she doesn't have a lot of prolapsing. That's great. But all this thick white stuff, look at all this thick white stuff. What's all this thick white stuff? Acute lymphatic stagnation. It's turning yellow, means she's going into the subacute stage. Ooh. I'm going to be careful there. We're getting close to the left side of the pancreas. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh. Okay. All right, so we want to look at this. All right, give me 2 seconds. All right, let's see here. Because we got to tell this lady she's got some work to do here in a minute, I think. Okay, so I tried to give you a little dividing up here. Oh, no. Gallbladder. No. Gallbladder, honey. You got to get that gallbladder. And there's your liver. Look at that. Liver, gallbladder, both chronic. Livers, gallbladder could be a little degenerative. This is your arm here, your right arm. Here's your hip. There's your hip, and there's a little bit of pancreatic weakness right up in there. Well, it's a little more than a little bit, but it's still subacute moving to light chronic. Femur, leg. Here's right leg, upper femur. And we can go on around the bend here. Small, look at this major prolapsing right here, guys. Look, follow my pencil, follow it. Look at this, major prolapsing up here. Major prolapsing of the small bowel heading toward the splenic flexure over here. Doesn't appear too much here on the left side, which is good. This is a hot spot of problems right here. See all these little black areas here, guys? Chest wall, left breast, be careful. Left breast area, a lot of lymph in there. Kidneys, look at here. All right, so here's right kidney area. Holy crap. Dark, chronic. Here's left kidney. Better, much better. Here's a knee, I think. So, that's what you got, huh? You got a lot of work to do in the GI tract. And it's obvious you're not filtering because you've been taking iodine or something. A lot of people in Europe take iodine. And of course they like to lie to you, especially when they had the Japanese nuclear issue. I'll take iodine, it'll help you. Really? Well, what that does is give you hyperthyroidism, and then you're in for thyroid removal. Or, excuse me, like in this case, I've got a phone call coming in here pretty quick, but like on this case, she's not metabolizing iodine, and it's hanging around in her body. At least it looks like iodine. It could be it could be a pharmaceutical for sure, and it could be other chemicals. Definitely sulfur involved here. Nice strong genes, but I'll say this: right ovary. Either you've had it removed or about to or something. That one's not a real happy fella right there. So you can see a lot in the eye. We can go pick this poor lady apart, but yeah, that doesn't serve anything. But it's enough to say that you got a lot of work ahead of you, and you just want to head in. I like your genes, and someone with these strong of genes can really take off. Skin and lymph nodes, work on them. Work on that thyroid, work on the endocrine glands. You can pull up that bowel prolapse pretty good. You do have a nerve ring or two, not a lot of them. So this is great. You only have 1 or 2 nerve rings. That's the autonomic. If I show you her little adrenal gland, this is a left adrenal gland kind of hugged up in that bowel area. I don't know if you can see that. But, yeah. Dig in. Digging in is moving to a fruit only, water only, or nothing only. That's digging in. Because they're so powerful, so energetic, and so astringent. I mean, it's like, all right, so you have some fruit, you got 12,000 angstroms, you have some vegetables, you put in 9, you have some steamed, you put in 1,000. So you got all these gamuts. And so this is what you're hitting the body with. When you hit the body with 12,000 angstroms constantly, it's just the cells are picking their consciousness up. And remember, if you can say anything about these God worlds, that each world up from this physical world is more intense, more energetic, more brilliant, more powerful, more everything, by far. So the more you pull yourself into these areas, the more you pull your cells into these areas, the more the blueprints start coming in, it starts rearranging. You're pulling that cell out of that lower consciousness, because at one level, for the spiritual geeks out there, everything is consciousness. That's all it is. It appears to manifest in form, obviously, because you wouldn't do that if you didn't have a physical body. Sorry, you wouldn't be able to do that. So, that's pretty cool.